IVM.
Hi everybody, just wanted to ask everyone for a quick favor. We're running a brand survey right now and would really appreciate it if you could let us know what you think about the advertising on IVM. Go to ivmpodcast.com/survey and do let us know. As part of this, we'll be selecting 10 random participants and sending them some IVM swag, so do fill out those surveys.
Hello and welcome to the Habit Coach podcast. I am Ashdin Doctor, your habit coach, and today in the hot seat we have Arathi Krishnan. And Arathi asks a very interesting question. She says, I have fear of taking that first step to change. How do I do that? Isn't that so interesting? You know, we are constantly torn with these two things. We are torn between the desire to make a change in our life and the fear of change. And the fear of change is a very debilitating thing. It comes up in so many different ways in our life. And the strange thing is that it's sneaky. You know, we're so scared of change that when good things happen to us, sometimes we sabotage them. You know, when something good is happening, we mean like, oh my God, will I be able to actually do this? And then we sabotage ourselves. We do something completely stupid and we ruin that good thing that was coming, that promotion at work, that new best friend that you're making, a relationship that's going so well. We screw it up because we don't think that we are worth it. We're fearful of that change. So the way to start thinking about change is understanding that there's nothing to fear in change. Change is inevitable. Change is always going to take place. Whether you're sitting down right now and doing nothing, or you're the most dynamic person on the earth, change is happening to you this very moment. Thousands and thousands of cells in your body are dying. The world is moving around you. Now, the question is, are you in charge of the change, or is the change in charge of you? Very often we let the change be in charge of us because you're too scared to control it. So it starts off by planning what it is that you exactly want and then following the habits or the steps that we do or we talk about on the Habit Coach podcast. So once you know what is the change that you want to create in your life, and I'm guessing you do because you're asking this question, so obviously there's a desire for change. But now what you have to do is you have to learn that you have to make that change into the smallest possible action that you can take towards it. You see, when an action is so small, there's nothing to fear. You know, nothing's dramatically going to change with just that one action. But the point is that if you do that action consistently, every single day, day after day, day after day, day after day, and it becomes a habit, that's when it compounds into something huge and a change that is going to benefit you, the change that you want. So instead of thinking about how you fear change, instead be excited by change. I am someone who loves change. Change excites me because change is equal to new possibilities. Change is equal to growth. Change is equal to that awesome life. If right now you don't have an awesome life, what do you need to do? Make small changes towards it. Take some of the habits that we talk about in the Habit Coach podcast and actually implement them. You know, very often we just leave them as an intellectual stimulation. Oh, I heard this podcast and I loved it. But what then? Start implementing it, start making those small changes. And after a while, that fear of change is going to go away. Because you're going to upnow it. You're going to own that change. And that is the state that I wish you reach. You see, as your habit coach, I am constantly rooting for you. I am looking forward to the amazing life that you're going to create for yourself. And that is what I want. And it all starts by making small steps, small habits, small changes towards that ultimate goal. So if you want to be featured on the next Hot Seat episode, go down to the description. There's a link. Click on that and ask your question there. Remember, give me as many details as you can because the more details you give me, the better I can help you. I'm Ashdin Doctor, your habit coach. And remember, awesome lives, they start with awesome habits. Usually in a podcast, it's me who speaks to you and you who listens. But I've been seeing your comments and it's time. It's me listening to you. Following the overwhelming success of this podcast, the good folks at IVM Podcast Network have decided to come up with a Kannada adaptation of the show for those who prefer listening to it in that language. Do make sure you let your Kannada speaking friends know about this as well. If you like this podcast, don't forget to check out other interesting podcasts on the IVM network.
You can listen to us on the IVM Podcast app or ivmpodcast.com. You can also follow us on social media. We are at IVM Podcasts on Twitter and Instagram. If you want to reach out to me, I am Ashdin Doc on Twitter and Instagram. You can find lots more information on my website, awesome180.com, or check out different content on my YouTube channel called AWESOME 180. That's Awesome 180.
Hey everybody, it's been a great week on the IVM Podcast Network. On Cyrus Says, author Shrabani Basu joins Cyrus. They discuss her latest book, The Mystery of the Parsi Lawyer, Arthur Conan Doyle, George Idalji, and The Case of the Foreigner in the English Village. We have another new show launching this week, Wars and Warriors, narrated by Air Vice Marshal Arjun Subramaniam. We're launching this podcast to commemorate the 50th anniversary of the India-Pakistan War of 1971. The podcast is on wars and conflicts in the history of independent India. Tune in to hear some of the fiercest battles that our men and women at the borders have had to brave through. On Smarter with Sid, Siddharth shares the concepts of top-down camp and bottom-up camp. These are different approaches to incorporate changes in one's lifestyle. On Tere Mere Raste, Keshav takes us to the nursery of temples Aihole and Patatakal, the spiritual and religious center of the erstwhile Chalukya Empire. And on Marathi Kirkitun, Dr. Rajiv and Manik Deshmukh, Dr. Preeti Pottar, they discuss her contribution to audiovisual media. Do follow us on social media. We're IVM Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. And remember, if you're enjoying this show or any of our other shows for that matter, please do tell a friend. Also, do check out our various YouTube channels. You can catch them on IVM Podcast/YouTube. And finally, we'd like to thank our sponsors on the network this week, Cred, Bank of Baroda, Quota, CoinSwitch, Kuber, Flake Coffee, Intel, and Oxfam India. Thank you so much for making this possible.
Namaste, this is Cyrus Brocha. I am part of the government cancel culture program to remove rubbish off all the different streams available. So what we have is all the collected rubbish we put together on our show. It's called Cyrus Says. It's on IVM Podcast. You have to watch it and listen to it. It's on our app. It's on our website. It's on the YouTube channel. It's on Facebook. There are many different ways. Don't bother me and ask me how. You have to find out. We talk to different personalities. Many of them are known. Some are just people we meet downstairs and invite them up for chai. But the point is, it's fun and it's very therapeutic. So please join in and listen to Cyrus Says.